Seven-figure CEOs build their purpose-driven legacy businesses through proven branding, marketing, and sales strategies so that they don't have to sacrifice their income and happiness for their mission. Thanks for watching the Life School Masterclass show. Join our Facebook group community of badass mission-driven entrepreneurs, and come back next week same place and time for our upcoming show.
All right. Welcome back, purpose-driven entrepreneurs. I hope you're doing well. I'm back with another show, guest, and amazing conversation here at the Life School Masterclass show, where we'll be talking about how to have unstoppable finances. We speak about finances here once in a while. I know this is a very important area in our journey as entrepreneurs, as we want financial freedom, which is why most of us start our businesses, of course, besides all the passion, the mission that we feel called to really serve. So I have Aimee Cerka, my fabulous connection from our LinkedIn community, coming by today to take us through that journey. Aimee, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Alana. I'm so happy to be here.
So happy to have you back here. I had an amazing interview with you on your amazing podcast. So you're definitely going to share that at the end as well for people that, want to join you there as well. And I always usually start my guests with a question about in sharing a few of the pivotal moments or points, I guess, in your personal life that led you to the work that you're doing now.
Wow. I would say probably one of the biggest ones is actually when my second son was hospitalized. He was in the NICU for 53 days. And even though we had created a level of financial success that I was able to be there with him full time, during that time, I self-sabotaged myself and created a mindset story that I had failed my family. And it was through that story that was created, that journey, that I ended up becoming the coach that I am now.
Wow. I mean, I love to ask that because it's like, the fire underneath why you do what you do. There's always a why. And if your why doesn't make you cry, get a new why, because in this journey, right? If something doesn't fuel you, then you're doing the wrong thing. So it has to align with it. And it always starts from, maybe moments of challenge, right? It's where we they're the gifts, in disguise, that nobody asks for challenges in life. But, if you look at them on the other end, they drove us to something really meaningful. So thank you so much for sharing that. So where do we start with how to have unstoppable finances or financial freedom? I know is a big word that everybody uses, but, where do we start with this? What do you have to share with us that you so passionately share with maybe your clients as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So becoming unstoppable, and I'll talk about like stepping into unstoppable and creating those unstoppable finances, is so crucial. And we'll go through the framework, the 4 parts that you have to truly like be able to do this. But the reason why unstoppable finances are so powerful is because even if we achieve financial freedom, when we achieve all these income goals, we're not going to create a life that is completely struggle free. Like, stuff is still going to happen. It might not necessarily be with your finances. It could be with your finances, personally, health, something's going to come up. And when that happens, unstoppable finances kicks in then, because it's not the absence of struggles. It's what happens during the struggles and being able to have peace and being present to what is important to you and not being bulldozed by all of the stuff when it comes up. I think through the last couple of years, there's been a lot of uncertain things that have happened for a lot of people. And being able to move forward in spite of that and through that, knowing that you're going to be okay and having that peace, keeping that level head on your shoulders is life-changing.
Well, I love that. And we started with that, like how sometimes despite of challenges, we depends how we let those challenges either hold us back or use them for good, right? To really do something with that and be in service to others in a way or another. So what do you find holds most people back from, from this area?
I find for most people, we get focused on the income side, which is actually the first part of the framework. We call it offense. So, making money in all forms, especially as entrepreneurs, like we're driven, let's do this, let's make six figures. And we feel like that next income goal is going to solve all the problems. And that's really the issue is making income is just really one part of the financial equation. I mean, we can set aside the fact that we weren't really taught finances growing up, tax time, all of those things. The biggest thing that we find is if I can just make more money, I'd be set. And in reality, that's not actually true. We can always use the example that there's somebody out there who's hit the next income level that is still having the same problems. And yes, there is importance in making money and increasing your income. And we absolutely want to do that. That's why it's so important. But we can't do just that.
Oh, I love that take. So what should we be aware of that you find we're not really so aware of? So how do we bridge that gap between what you just said?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part of the framework is the offense. So we have to keep making the money, but we also need the second part, which is the money management. Now, this is both, especially as entrepreneurs, we have to do this on both our personal and business side because often we don't want to look at the numbers or we kind of set things away. Or, QuickBooks is linked to our banking account and that's like all we have to do. We don't want to mess with it. But truly, like managing your money, your budget's a part of that. And a lot of people will find that budget is kind of like a four-letter word for them. They don't want to budget because they feel like it's going to limit them. But that's not the purpose of a budget. A budget is simply designated for you to spend money on what's important to you. And of course, that's completely up to you. The podcast, like you mentioned, is called Your Money, Your Life because it's your decision. Like it's customized to you. There's no cookie cutter system that works. But if you're not setting the intention of where you want your money to go, it's statistically proven that you're overspending an average of $7,500 a year. Marketing and advertising, of course, is $1 billion industry. We all do it as entrepreneurs. There's nothing wrong with that. But by not setting the intention, you're basically wasting a Caribbean cruise each year, which I would much rather take the Caribbean cruise. So we have to manage our money. We have to be on top of that. And if you're not a spreadsheet numbers person, even though I love the numbers, I don't want to be sitting in front of an Excel spreadsheet all day long. So there's 3 critical rules that you need to tell if your budget, this can be both personal and business, is set up for success. 1, it needs to be able to handle inconsistent income. As entrepreneurs, we can work to have consistent income, but it's kind of always like the roller coaster. And if your budget can't handle that, then it's not set up for success for you. The second thing is you need to have money designated to play, like to have fun with. If you cut everything off, this is why no spend challenges don't really work long term. Because if you cut everything off, we create a negative association with money, which is kind of tiptoeing into the third part of the framework. But you have to have that money to do something fun. If money is tight, it's just a smaller amount. We call that our play fund because we need to have fun with our money. And the third critical thing that your budget needs to set you up for success is to be able to scale with you as your income does, because we're all working to make more money. So as you do that, the budget should scale with you. And of course, it should be systematized in a simple manner because I firmly believe that simple systems are the best way to create long-term financial abundance. Like we do not have to be in here managing things on an everyday basis. Like does not have to take a ton of time. Have the system set up. You are the CEO of your business and the CEO of your life. Have it work for you.
Well, 2 main takeaways that I had from that is really cool about it's like the diet culture, right? Like whatever, restricts us, we can't sustain that because that's
Yep.
kind of what we want to do. So having that relationship with money really, sets us up for some other things down the line. And we know how mindset and all of that and intentionality and being purposeful with this area of your life, also is going to help you sustain this long term. I love that you said plan for that inconsistent income gaps in the journey because there's a lot of it, right? Especially the
Definitely.
beginning, there's a lot of gaps to fill, the experience and knowledge, education. You don't have a base yet of clients and all of that. So I think that's really important that you help people with that as well, because I have never heard of that before, but I know it's such a big need. So how do we plan ahead for that? Is it setting aside a certain like amount of money to like, tell me more about that. How do you think we can do that?
Yeah, so we use percentage-based budgeting, both in personal finances and in our business finances. So with percentage-based budgeting, it doesn't matter the income level, you've allocated what you need. We have, what is it, 6 categories? I'm gonna really make me count here. We break up our expenses, like on the personal side, we have your necessities, and those are split between your fixed necessities, which are like your basic bills, your mortgage, your electric, insurance, things that don't really change. Your varied necessities, that is your groceries, household items, pet expenses, transportation, some of those things. We have your giving account, your savings fund, your play fund. Of course, I did not have this pulled up. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. Play, giving. Oh, You Inc. So You Inc., if you are somebody who's just started out in business or you're not to the point where your business is self-sustaining, You Inc. is designed for you to fund your business. It also can be put aside money for, it's really for you, because you are the thing that cannot be taken away, for furthering your education, any of those things. That's what that fund is designed for. And then the last one is your financial freedom account. And we use that to fund passive income streams, not businesses that we are active in. If you can't walk away from it at least a month or so, then it's not really a passive income stream, which there's nothing wrong with it. We just need to be clear about the differences. So when you get the income, and we'll say, just for round numbers, you have $1,000 check that comes in, you break that up into the percentages for the different accounts. So if it's a smaller check, then there's less that goes into the accounts. If it's a bigger check, then there's more that goes into the accounts. And then it'll help hold you over for a lesser amount. It takes the who do I pay first out of the decision making process, because again, we plug and play it into the system and the system tells you what we need to do. It's just a little bit more setup on the front end. And the business side works very similar. We have profit, we have savings, we have our regular expenses and our irregular expenses. So
Hmm. Well, you Inc. Does that mean you incorporated? Is that
yes,
that's a very clever
that's
name? I love that. I love that because that's just like self-care. It's usually, I don't know, whatever's left, you kind of just, spend that, or it could be the other way around, right? I mean, but it's all the awareness. I love that you give people the awareness, and there's, a system to kind of structure our life around this area, personal life and business life, because as entrepreneurs, I always say, sometimes we don't know the difference,
right.
bank accounts and all of that, right? I mean, I know it's you're supposed to separate and all of that, but it can get so messy so easy, right? I mean,
Yes.
kind of like meshes together. So this awareness and being so organized got to give people that sense of control, because control is another thing that we miss in being an entrepreneur, because again, this journey is just like that. And I love that you said that, because I work with a lot, like my background was in corporate, and I would see that every time I worked in the retail industry, every time a new location would open up, a new retail location, the company allotted like at least 3 years, so that the business kind of could start becoming healthy and meeting its own needs and all of that, right? And a lot of times entrepreneurs, I don't think we have this education that the first 3 years, 2, 3 years, you have to plan ahead for the inconsistency that you might be experiencing, which is all part of the journey. But because a lot of people lack that awareness, I find that they just quit too soon. It's like, this thing's not working, So it's all part of the journey. I love that you kind of bridge the gap for people with that as well.
Absolutely. And if we don't have it set up for that, then we put ourselves in the pressure of like, I've got to make money now, which there can be some positives to that depending on your personality. But a lot of times we end up showing up with almost like it's a desperation, and people can kind of feel that. And this way you're set up for success. You can show up with the passion and the purpose that you have, but you have removed that desperation from it, because even if this doesn't work out, like, you're still covered and you're just able to show up in a better, more aligned way for myself.
Love that. Do you work with people that are still working maybe full time and are starting to grow a business? Like, how does that play out with the work that you do?
Absolutely. So, like I said, with the personal budget, like if you're still funding your business there, that still works. And all of my programs, we talk about the personal side first, because if we don't get this in order, it's kind of hard to focus on your business because in the back of your head, you're like, well, what about this thing? Like, how am I going to take care of my house and that structure? And it goes back to that innate, like, self-preservation that we have. So we take care of this and we really take care of the business side of the finances at the same time. But in my signature program, we start with the personal first.
Yeah, I asked that very intentionally because there's a lot of people that, might be listening that are still in the, they need that steady, secure income if you can, right? Because sometimes involuntarily, and that could be a positive thing too. That
Right.
was my personal story. But, I'm like, if someone could have just fired me, it would have been easier because I would have had to figure it out, right? But, on the other end, it's when you have those opportunities and you're growing a business, you have to understand how to strategically plan so that eventually, if your goal is to make that full-time jump to your own business, you have a plan for that and you can plan for that. It's not by chance that, you're going to grow the business because you're splitting your time and energy in two different directions. So I think that becomes even more important, to have someone like you that can help people strategically plan ahead for when they need to make that major move. And there's a timeline, and actions that we need to take to get to that other goal for most people that are either going back now to get some steady income, or even are, somewhere where they're a soul sucking job and they just see entrepreneurship as a new way out or a new way to build for the future. So I think that's your role is very crucial in those times. I wish I had some more guidance around that area where I just completely made my decision out of my gut. It's like, okay, it's time to just, focus full time on this because of the value that I saw that I could potentially, make from the business that I was growing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love that. Aimee, great work. I mean, thank you so much for everything you shared. I love like you're quick like me. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love a good structures, framework, and cut the fluff. You gave so much great value with, the way that you just shared that. So I would love to drive people to where is your best content? Where can they find out more information about you and all the programs that you have going on?
Absolutely. Well, real quick, let me just say I didn't even get to the other half of the framework. So it was offense was the first one. Second one was the
I
defense.
won't let you go unless we have it completed. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, I could show you where to go to it, but I just realized, like, we didn't even get to this part. And the third and fourth one, this is really where it becomes more like a matrix because they all play together. So the third part is battlefield, which is the money mindset, the economics, the rules of the game. Because if we don't improve our relationship with money, with our money mindset, and know like really how things work, because there's still people out there that are saying put 6 months worth of savings in a savings account, and with the economics of 2023 that we're in, like that's just not logical. So we have to understand those part to make the work that we're doing with the offense and the defense like that much more powerful and more effective long term, because we all have money stories where we've self-sabotaged, we form these false stories about what actually happened, and we end up self-sabotaging and we don't even realize it because it's done like at a subconscious level. And then the fourth part is the part that brings it all together. That's coaching, because even the professional athletes have somebody to help them review the footage, that outside objective perspective. Of course, it doesn't have to be me, but like whoever you have somebody in your corner to help you there, see what's going on, looking objectively and moving forward. So just quick, there's the four parts.
All right. I'm glad we have that other side, which is so important as well. And you're able to share that too. And now we have the complete picture, right? To how to become unstoppable in our finances. Hell yeah. Very important.
We
All
made
right.
it now.
Love it. Where is it that we can take people to continue the conversation with you, so to speak?
Yeah. So I love to hang out on Instagram. It's at Aimee Cerka. And then, of course, I have my podcast, which is Your Money, Your Life. And then there are several different free resources, but I'm betting the best one that I can start with, especially as entrepreneurs, I find we're doing a lot of the work. So I have a money mindset mastery checklist, which is 10 simple steps to help you create that unshakable money mindset that we're all looking for. And it's just simply at aimeecerka.com/mindset.
perfect. There's a valuable resource right there. So definitely go check out Aimee's website. I love that, Aimee. At the end, I usually ask my guests for a final message from their school of life. As life is its own school, we're always learning and growing, and we're learning about all these different areas, right? How to ensure that we have the right skills, education, awareness, and all of that, that it is going to all contribute towards a fulfilling life at the end of the day and be happy, right? That's really what we want, be joyful and happy. But, we have to get certain things in order to get there sometimes. So what is your final message from your school of life that you could leave our entrepreneurs today with?
It doesn't have to be a struggle, whether that's your finances or really life in general, but it doesn't have to be a struggle.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a struggle because there's so much support out there for sure, right? You just have to align with the right people. They can meet you where you are and align with the right goals and the vision you have for your life and business in the future. And you're already making progress, right? You're steps ahead from, if you start and if you commit for sure. I want to thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much for being on my show. And definitely go and check out Aimee's show as well. And this show is available where all major podcasts are available. So definitely review and leave us and subscribe to the show. And also YouTube channel, right? So subscribe and leave us a review because I do these shows every day now. I can't wait to bring amazing guests just like Aimee. And the more that there's value and we can measure, right, that you are getting value out of these interviews, the more we can create amazing content and bring more amazing people like Aimee back. So thank you so much, Aimee. I wish you a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for everything you shared.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You as well. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Join me for a high-level VIP strategy day where we will map your high-level business strategy between your branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team, and you will walk away with a very clear plan for your business for the upcoming years to come for you to build on. One of the things that most entrepreneurs are missing is the one-stop shop for business strategy where you are connecting all the dots in your business, and you can rest assured that you are staying focused and working on your business priorities at all times. Reach out to me, connect to see if you are interested in a high-level VIP strategy day, and I'll give you more details.